In this class, we will learn how to create a logical volume and use its features to extend and add storage to a Red Hat or CentOS Linux machine. This will apply even for any flavor. This is all the commands we are going to use are for Logical Volume Manager version 2. So let's go ahead, log in as root. So first we need to see if the additional hard disk that you have attached is visible from the operating system. So to do that, use fdisk -L, which will display all the hard disks which are on the machine. It shows SDA, which is our primary hard drive, which wherein the operating system was installed. But you also see there are two new disks, SDB/DV SDB, which is a 2 gigabit hard drive, and STC, which is another 2 gig hard drive. It is not initialized. So to first we need to initialize the disks. We can do that by partitioning it using fdisk and giving the device name. So if you want to see what other commands are available, options are available for fdisk, press M. It will give you all the help you would need to use fdisk. So what we are going to do now is create a new partition. So to do that, we need to choose the option N, enter. So we have to choose, let's make it as a primary partition. So choose P, and let's select partition number as 1. So it will give you the option to choose from first cylinder. So let's accept that, and then we'll use the whole disk. So we'll use the whole, we'll leave it at 261. So this will create one single large partition with 2 gigs of space. To see what partitions we have created, use the P option. So you see DEV SDB1 has been created. So once we have created the partition, let's write using the W, and then what it will do, it will write the partition table to the disk and then exit. So once that is done, we can look at the partitions by using fdisk -L again. So now you see that there is a partition displayed. Previously you did not see this. One thing we want to do is create a LVM partition. So what we have done right now, it's as by default created as basic Linux partition. So let's go back in using fdisk, and then now let's change the partition. To change the partition, we need to specify the type, for which we use the option T, which is change partition system ID. So if you want to see what all IDs are available, just L for all the options. What we would like to use is 8E, which is Linux LVM. So change it to 8E, and then print the partition table to see that it has changed to Linux LVM. Now let's save. So after this, we have successfully initialized the disk to be used in a logical volume manager. So let's create and initialize the first partition to be used in LVM by using pv create. What it does, it creates a logical physical volume. So before we do that, let's see what is available right now on the machine. Pv display is the command to see what physical volumes are available. So what we have right now is a physical volume which is displayed by pv name SDA2. So let's create a new one with the new partition SDB1. So pv create dev SDB1 would create an new physical volume. So let's display that. So you should see there are 2 GB volume we have created right now. So we have not created any volume groups or volume logical volumes yet. So to do that, let's create a test volume group. Before we do that, let's see what is available right now. VG is for volume group, and display is to see what volume groups are there on this machine right now. So what we have is a volume group 00. So we want to create a new volume group. So VG create, and let's name it as volume group 1. And we need to create a volume group 1 with new physical volume created, so which is DEV STB1. So ignore the CD-ROM read errors. What we are looking for is volume group VG1 has been successfully created. So now if we go in and display all the volume groups, you should see, let's display page by page using the less. So you see a new volume group created with LVM2 format, and the size is 2 gigabits. So after we have a volume group created, we need to activate for the volume group to be used by the system. So to do that, we can use VG change. To see more about VG change, just type in man VG change. So it will give you all the options that are available for any command. So VG change is to change the attributes of a volume group. So to make it available, just say -a capital Y or N. So we want to make this volume group available. So we make VG change and then make it available. The volume group is VG1. There was a typo. So now the volume group is active. So there are no logical volumes yet in this volume group. So let's create a basic 1 GB volume group. Let's see what volume groups are available by just will help you choose a name. So let's go slowly. So these are all the logical volumes that are available on this machine, which is volume group 00, logical volume 00, and then the same volume group 00 you have logical volume 01. So let's create a new logical volume in our volume group 1, which we have created right now. So to create a logical volume, you use LV create, and then we give the size with an option -L. Let's choose 1 gigabyte, and it's a new, let's name it logical volume 1 from VG1. So logical volume LV1 has been created. So to see this, we can go back to display, and then if the first option is it has created device /dev VG1 LV1 with volume group 1. The size of the volume group is 1 GB. So once we have this device, we can basically use it as any block device, format it and mount it to the operating system. So let's do that. Let's create a file system on it first. So we will create ext3 file system on this device. So we have created logical volume device. So we want to add this to the machine. To add it to the machine, just create any folder. I already have a folder called extra disk. So we mount this new device onto that. So to mount it, so we choose the device and the destination. So now you can see the additional 1 GB disks at extra disk. So let's go in there and put some files in there. So I'm going to just create test files 1 and 2. So you have 2 empty files. Let's type in something there. Need to redirect it. And then we write something else in test 2. So the advantage of logical volumes is we can extend them on the fly without losing data. So let's go back. So if we want to increase the size of the disk without losing the actual data, copying everything over to a new partition, adding a larger partition, so we can all easily do that. So to do that, just unmount the extra disk so that we don't you mount the disk. So to extend the logical volume, all we have to do is use the command lv extend. So to know more about that command, you can use the man page, or and then it will give you more options to that. So we extend the logical volume. Let's say we want to add, for example sake, 500 MB to the one. As you have already seen, the disk right now we have added is only 2 GB, so we can go up to 2 GB. So let's say we want to add 500 megs more, and then resize. -R option is to resize the file system to accommodate all the sizes. So you should see if 1.5 gigs of hard drive that is available to the operating system, and then we give the device. So what it is asking us to do is run file system check before we do that. These options, what we have obtained is that resize fs is not work because there was file system check was not run previously on the new disk. Not what normally I do in a regular production or regular machine. We run file system check on every new disk we create. It's a good practice to do that, but this is for demo. I skipped that part. So let's do that now. Once the file system is checked, the -R option that we have given here, it basically invokes the resize command on the resize the file system. Resize to fs is used to resize both ext2 and ext3. So what we have created is ext3, so it automatically identifies the file system and then resizes it. Okay, let's force the file system check. Once that is done, just resize it. So now file system is resized. So once we mount the device again, you should see 1.5 gigs of storage without losing your actual data. So now you see you have a new disk. Let's go in there and verify that we have our data intact. So you have them. This is how LVM makes the life of a system administrator in Linux easier by giving him an opportunity to extend any hard disk, any size disk. So what other option with LVM is you can also add more physical disks, physical volumes to the volume group, and then you can keep extending the logical volume, or you can create as many logical volumes as you have space. All right, thank you.